Show is hosted by Tony Gapperstone. Thanks for tuning in. It's showtime.
Hey, it's showtime, everybody. Welcome to the BraveMaker podcast, episode 257. This is a podcast about storytelling, scripts, creativity of all kinds. My name is Tony Gapperstone. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm an actor, a writer, director, producer in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I founded BraveMaker, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. And every single year, we have a film festival in July. We've been doing this for 6, going on 7 years now. It is super one of the highlights of my work as a creative. And I love being able to see storytellers get the platform to share their work on a big screen and then talk about it. And every year we get hundreds of submissions for films to come to our film festival. And there's always some glitches and things that happen along the way, especially when it comes to the screening, the projection of these films. We use a digital cinema projector in the Cinemark Theater in Redwood City, California, and that requires a special file, a code or export of the film, if you will. We can't just take a Blu-ray or an MP4 of a film. It requires something called a DCP. And today on the show, we're going to talk to somebody who specializes in DCPs or digital cinema packages, and we're hoping to educate you, filmmakers in general. If you want to be showing your films on a big screen, touring film festivals, you are going to need to know what a DCP is. So with that, I'm going to welcome special guest, Garrett Sargent from Simple DCP in Los Angeles. Welcome, Garrett.
Hey, Tony. Thanks for having me.
Heck yeah. Why don't you give a just introduction to yourself, who you are, and what you do?
Sure. Simple DCP is a digital cinema lab. We're based in Burbank, California. We specialize in mastering films for digital cinema and helping filmmakers through the entire process of getting their films exhibited in theaters.
So we've been working together now 3 years in a row, and it's been super cool to have a connection and a partnership with you all in LA as we are in the Bay Area. And I wanted to have this conversation because I wanted to create an education piece, because so many new filmmakers especially have run into some roadblocks, if you will, when it comes to making a DCP for a number of different reasons. So let's just kind of start high level. I said DCP, digital cinema package, but what would you explain to someone who's never heard those 3 letters put together like that, and why they need to know what it is?
Sure. So a digital cinema package is basically the digital equivalent of a 35 millimeter film print. Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, the studios came together, realized they wanted to transition to digital projection, come up with a standard format so that they wouldn't be stepping on each other's toes throughout the entire process. And they were able to put this together with a set of open frameworks, open standards that allowed anybody to create the tools to generate digital cinema packages and to be able to read them. And the format has been designed in such a way that it allows for a lot of flexibility in the way that films are exhibited. So whether that's composing them with multiple reels, multiple tracks, taking advantage of the latest and greatest technical offerings in cinema, so things like Atmos audio and motion seats, encryption, and the like. The format encompasses all of that. And where I like to tell people is kind of like understanding the kind of the technical background of it. Digital cinema packages, that standard was settled upon before even ProRes came out. So that's kind of the mainstay of a lot of filmmakers that they might be familiar with in their editing suites. So it's been around for a long time. It is established, and it's how everybody around the world now exhibits films in theaters.
So I have been making films for 12, 13 years now. And when I made my very first film and got into a film festival, this was a requirement. And 13 years ago, it was like, wait, what am I doing here? YouTube I was familiar with putting my stuff on YouTube and that kind of thing, and doing a movie or a QuickTime file, but this was kind of like another level. And there was a little bit of a learning curve, and I didn't feel as if, even still today, I don't feel as if there's a lot of education on this. It's kind of like you just like get your act together, filmmakers, and you have to figure it out. Google it if you don't know. So my hope is in this short time to give filmmakers some sort of peace and direction in doing this. So when a filmmaker has to create a DCP, what's the process look like? What do they first have to do on their end to get that film ready? Like you said, ProRes. Was it just like exporting a ProRes and then sending it off? Talk about that.
Yeah, what we're really looking for when we master for digital cinema is the highest quality version of your film that you have available. The easiest way for most people to generate that is to give us a ProRes file. It's widely accepted, standardized. You can check it yourself, and those formats will usually get you quality that's viable for really getting the most out of a digital cinema package. And that's really what we're trying to accomplish is making certain that all of that information, everything that you've shot, shows up in the final print. So, for example, if you're out there with a red camera and you're shooting in 4K and going through all of the every step along the way to preserve the fidelity of that image, it doesn't make sense to as your final export, spit out an MP4 and give us the same kind of file formats that you'd expect to be able to deliver for YouTube or Vimeo or other streaming services. You can do so much more. So the best practice is making certain that you are exporting with the the highest fidelity video, making certain that you're checking all of those boxes that say high quality, full bit depth and the like, and also making certain that that you're checking it. That's the final step along the way, is just making certain that no matter what it is that you're exporting, you're making certain that every frame of your video is there. It's really easy for that last step to kind of be for that to be an oversight for most folks. And then in addition to that, it's audio. So you've also we've seen a major uptick over the years in terms of people using multi-channel audio to really get the most out of their viewing experience, and that can be a little pitfall as well. A lot of programs are by default set up to still deal in stereo, and mixing down to stereo from 5.1 is a problem that we see a lot of the time. Yep. There are a lot of things that go into making certain that you are delivering that the best copy of the film that you can, and it's we help you guide people along the way when it comes to getting those deliverables for us. So give us a call and we can talk to you about what it is that you really need.
So I've been very happy with partnering with Simple DCP. You can go to simpledcp.com and check out their quotes and information. But I want to really make sure filmmakers, especially if this is your first time making a DCP, and even maybe if you've never made a film yet, this is something you should be budgeting for, because it does cost money. So let's talk about that a little bit. First of all, I hear you saying, Garrett, that we want to be exporting the highest file possible. We want to be thinking about what the audio mix is, and as filmmakers, we're often challenged with budget stuff. We're often complaining about how expensive it is to make a film, but we don't want you to skimp on those things. So going to a sound designer, a sound mixer, somebody who can really mix the film in a 5.1 so that when your film comes to a cinema grade projection and they have those amazing speakers, it can really fill the house. If you're mixing it on your own computer, on your laptop for stereo, and then it goes into a theater with 200 seats, it will just have a different impact. And so there are things you have to consider, think about, and budget for, which can sometimes cost, thousands of dollars. I hate to say this, but what has happened in the past is filmmakers will submit to a film festival like BraveMaker with good intentions. They pay the fee to get in. They've created the movie. They've spent their time, sweat, blood, tears. Maybe it's been a year or two of making it, and they get to that final stretch where they're accepted. And then our film has another layer where we require open captions, and we'll talk about that, because they get to that final step, and this happens almost every year for a handful of films. They'll have to bail out when they realize, oh wow, whether it's a short or a feature, because features can cost a lot of money because these DCPs are made by the minute. They're like, wow, I can't afford it. So I want to talk a little bit about that, Garrett. Can you talk about the budgeting of it, just why the expense, and when people maybe look up making a DCP, there are other routes, and you can create your own, but then that causes some QC, quality control issues. So let's talk about the money things, because filmmakers really want to know about that stuff.
Sure. Yeah. Our, we set out when we, first got started, it was my own adventure into making this for a film that I was creating. And at the time, there really weren't a lot of resources that were available for people to do that. And that has changed over the years. And the one thing that hasn't changed is all of the extra effort that needs to go into making certain that what you're delivering is what you want to deliver. Creating the DCP itself isn't actually the problem anymore. It is making certain that you are, crossing your T's and dotting your I's. So, we tell people, like, hey, there are absolutely ways that you can package one yourself. Whatever it is that you do, make certain that you're reviewing it. Make certain that you're looking at it in a theater. It never ceases to amaze me, how many people step into, our lab and actually look at their film and they're in the theater for the first time. And it's the first time that they've ever seen their film on a large screen, or have heard their mix played through, the kind of sound system that you would experience in a theater. And that not only gets people really thinking about, all of the all of the things that they wish they had considered earlier on in the process, but it stokes the imagination about what it is that they can do in the future. So, we are, there to answer people's questions about that stuff. We have a team of people that really focuses on QCing films, watching down every frame of that film to make certain that, it's free of errors and that there are no other, questionable aspects, things that, we go back to the filmmakers and say, hey, we've looked it through, everything is looking fine, but we've got this one section here that we're seeing some frame rate stutter. We're seeing something as benign as we might get a mic in the shot, or we might have some weird matting issues. Just those kinds of things that we want to draw a filmmaker's attention to, and we'll go back and we'll get changes to the source material in order to go out and patch the final thing. When it comes to budgeting for digital cinema, the thing that you want to ask is who are you trying to reach with your movies? So when it comes to generating the digital cinema package itself, there are baseline costs that are associated there. Our company charges by the minute for the creation of the DCPs, but there are other things that you to consider as well that are dependent upon what you as a filmmaker want in your final film. So we talked about things like captioning, encryption, being able to support multiple different playlists of your film. So when you start talking to a lab, ask about what options are available to you, and tell the lab what your goals are for your film, and that way you can appropriately gauge what the what you should be considering for your budget. And as always, the biggest thing that's going to affect your budget is time. Plan ahead, get things done early, and if we're down to the wire, if we're down to the last minute, that's when things do get more expensive. I would say for anybody who is engaged in a feature film and wants to at least be able to meet the minimum specs to mastering, budget about $1,000 for the generation of that digital cinema package. It's $1,000 to $1,500 depending upon what the runtime of your film is, and also bear in mind that those costs will increase as you go to distribute your film to more places. There are lots of different considerations for how you finally get your film to the end point where it needs to play, and it will depend upon who's playing it, what they're able to receive, what they're able to utilize from the filmmaker, and if all in all you're able to ask these questions early and not hesitate to tell people what it is that you're hoping to do with them, it'll save you a lot of time. It'll save you a lot of money in the long run.
Garrett, this is so helpful. And when I did my feature film, I knew from my short filmmaking, that this was going to be a requirement, but it was like a preparation that I knew, okay, in order for this to actually get on big screens, I'm going to have to budget $1,000 to $1,500, like you said, to make sure that this is the best thing. And yes, we can complain about it. Yes, things are expensive. Filmmaking is this privilege, right? It really is a privilege, but we have to accept it. It's just part of it. So why wouldn't we plan ahead and not skimp? Because if you put all the time and effort into the writing and the developing and the pre-pro and the production, just get that final film over the finish line. And as Garrett was saying, you all do really cool things because you can help filmmakers with the captioning stuff too. So you're not just a company that just, cranks out digital cinema packages. You have a whole theater down there and you're doing posts and stuff. So check them out in LA at simpledcp.com for more information. And if you are just checking this out because maybe you're just submitting to the BraveMaker Film Festival, which is on Film Freeway every year, our submissions are open from September through April every year. And we make our selections the first week of May. And we let those filmmakers know usually a little bit before that. So if you are a filmmaker submitting to the BraveMaker Film Fest, you will be getting that information. So you have a month and a half, almost 2 months to get your film ready as a DCP. So as you heard Garrett say, the procrastination stuff is going to crush you because it's going to take an emotional toll on you, but it also has financial ramifications. Like, you don't want to have to pay late fees. And just so you know, BraveMaker does not get any money or any commission off of doing this. They're not paying us. In fact, we pay them fees to do this every year because we believe in this projection quality that they're able to provide for us. And we want you to have the best projection quality too. So keeping that in mind, in our fine print on the Film Freeway submission, it talks about all of these deadlines and due dates and when the DCPs have to be delivered with open captions. So let me just say, don't push it. If you feel like you're not going to be able to make it, it's not worth it to skimp in any way, shape, or form. Make sure your film is at its best so that you can cross that finish line and maybe cross it even earlier. It's like turning in an assignment, not just like at 11:59 when it's due at midnight, but turning it in at like 9 p.m. or even like 5 p.m. Like that kind of thing is what we really hope. So we're doing this podcast especially to encourage you to get there. Garrett, anything else you want to say about the DCP process or kind of the FAQs? You have a whole website and a blog and all this kind of stuff is available. People can get a quote from there as well. But anything else you'd want to say kind of from your experience in the past working with filmmakers trying to problem solve these issues?
Our biggest thing is that we want to share cinema with everybody. For the past decade or so, we've seen this dramatic rise in streaming and other resources where you can get your story out. But we really believe in the power of sitting in a dark room with a bunch of strangers, all watching the same story together. I don't know about you, but we originally moved to Los Angeles because that's what we believed in. We wanted to be filmmakers. So if you're out there about to show your film to the world, it means a lot to to be able to go in and experience that film yourself for the first time, in exactly the environment that you want to be able to play it. So we really encourage everybody who ever works with us to watch their film in the theater and to make certain that it's everything that they want it to be. Do the due diligence to get out there and to review it to make certain that there's nothing missing from the process. And of course, like I said, ask questions. Asking questions is never a bad thing. It will, like I said, it'll help stoke your imagination about what it is that's possible and help you avoid missteps.
Thank you for your time today, Garrett. And I wanted to close, which is a couple of things. You mentioned about you want people to see your movies, right? We are filmmakers, we are storytellers, and we don't just make movies for ourselves, although that's a big part of it because we have stories to tell. But what good would it be if we didn't share that, if people couldn't see it and hear it and experience it and dialogue with us? At BraveMaker, as one of the priorities is talking about these stories and being moved to take action, to be better, to be changed by them. Brave stories change the world. That's our whole tagline. And one of the things that's really important to us is accessibility. So we take it very seriously since 2022, when we realized the inequities in audiences to watch and access movies, especially the deaf and hard of hearing. We have been mandating and requiring all of our films to have open captions. You all are familiar, I'm sure, with subtitles. It's becoming more and more common that open captions mean that when you come into a theater, it's just they're open for all. They're not closed captions, they're open. So all of our films must have captions embedded into the file to be projected on the screen. And we also provide ASL interpreters. So I can even, sign my name in ASL because we want people to be welcomed to participate in those talkbacks and to ask questions. So the deaf community is a priority for us to be welcoming and inclusive to all. So filmmakers, please check that out. Simple DCP can make those happen for you. You're also, there's so many great resources out there to make sure that's happening too. And I will say we are seeing more and more. We're probably one of, I think, 10 film festivals in the country that do require this, but it is becoming more and more of a requirement for all. And so I think 10 years from now, we probably will be seeing this on all of our film festivals, so that everybody knows they don't just have to come and ask for like those little machines to be, in their lap during the film, but they can come and enjoy the film like everybody else. So the other thing I'll say is we do have orientations for our filmmakers. So if you are thinking about the film festival and this is one of your first, once you get accepted into BraveMaker, we have numerous Zooms where we talk about the ins and outs. And we will be having representative from Simple DCP because we talked about this with our debrief over our past film fest, that we will have a Simple DCP person on our orientations to chat in the future so you can have direct contact. But they're always available at their website by email, and they're super friendly, and they've been so, even with the late people and the procrastinators, they've been so gracious along the way to make sure your film gets the best projection possible. So thanks, Garrett, for being on the BraveMaker podcast today. Thanks for helping us to educate our team, and we're really grateful to partner with you. And if you are a filmmaker out there that's considering to be a submitter, just check us out, filmfreeway.com/BraveMaker Film Fest. Read all the fine print. It's good fine print out there. But it's all available for you. Follow us on all of our BraveMaker.org. We would love to keep instilling a passion to go after telling your story. Garrett, thank you so much. People can find you just at Simple DCP, or is there anywhere else you want people to go to?
All right, Tony, thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Talk to you soon. Everybody else, we will see you. We are here week to week with filmmakers and storytellers and actors, trying to educate, entertain, and create community for justice, diversity, and inclusion. If you believe in this work that we do, we are a nonprofit, and we would love to encourage you to become a donor. We need donors to support this work, to do a film festival. We need corporate sponsors and individual donors, and it truly does take a village to make this happen. For the past couple of years, we haven't received a presenting sponsor, so we have been working overtime to make this festival happen, and I believe so wholeheartedly in it that I'll do whatever it takes to make it happen, because I love film and film festivals. I'm a filmmaker myself, and I will make sure filmmakers feel special and empowered. So if you believe in the arts and the power that they have to create community and to change the world, become a donor today. Right now, currently, just 49 people. Hopefully, we will be over 100 when you hear this sometime in the future, because we want to keep doing this festival. We can't do it without your support. Go to bravemaker.com/donate to become a donor today, or just use your phone. Seriously, right from your phone, you can text the word BraveMaker, which is one word, to 44321. Just text BraveMaker to 44321. You'll get a link right to your phone. All right, this is episode 257 with Garrett Sargent from Simple DCP. Thanks so much for listening or watching. Rate, subscribe, share it with a friend. Hopefully, this will be encouraging to all you filmmakers to keep going after it. All right, see you soon.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at BraveMaker.org. Like, subscribe, and share. To become a monthly donor, text the word BraveMaker to 44321 or go to bravemaker.com/donate. Thanks for tuning in.